team is playing at their home stadium. Tom Brady is responsible for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being in the Super Bowl. And that doesn't equate to what is happening on the field as far as how well the defense is played, and they've had more of an impact as far as getting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in this position. Mm-hmm. But you think if Tom Brady wasn't a quarterback, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be in the Super Bowl? You're fooling yourself if you don't think that's the reality. The reality is the degree of difficulty is much harder to end up in the game, let alone win 6 of them, to end up in this game. Ask Dan Marino how hard it is. Ask John Elway how hard it is. Ask Peyton Manning how hard it is to get here. They had good defenses. They had good players. Tom Brady is about to play in the 10th Super Bowl that he came to just a few months ago without the opportunity to prepare for the season, dealing with COVID. Bro, listen, this is not close. I've said it. Well, I've said it before. If he wins this Super Bowl, and I'm not sure if it's already the case, but if he wins this Super Bowl, he's the greatest player in team sports in American history, period, the greatest winner.
Hold on, Swagoo. In the interest of a couple of NBA head coaches who will remain nameless and just text me, I want to make sure that my position is very, very clear. I have Tom Brady, if he wins the Super Bowl, as number 2 all-time as the greatest winner in team sports, behind Bill Russell. Right. Bill Russell, 11 titles in 13 years, an NCAA champion, an Olympic gold medalist, not to mention the fact that he also won a couple of titles as a player's coach, okay? A black man in the 60s that was named the 60s, 70s, that was named a head coach in Boston and won a title as a player coach. There is no question that when it comes to winners in team sports, Bill Russell is numero uno.
Time out.
But then after that, it would be Tom Brady at number 2.
Time out. Let's not also forget Kareem, who was the greatest winner and dominating player in the history of college basketball before he won 6 chips.
We should tag this professional sports. Like,
okay, but look,
shouldn't we put that caveat on there?
Okay, look, here's the thing about MJ.
It's harder to get to a Super Bowl.
You know why that is? It's because one player in football.
I respect it. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because I know it's going to go crazy. I respect it. But I'm telling y'all right now, I've watched the NBA and I've seen teams buy championships in the NBA. I've seen teams get Shaq and win NBA championships when they weren't close. I know what Wilt did. I know what Bill Russell did as far as being the greatest winner. The degree of difficulty is much harder to do this in the NFL.
And that's because there are more parts on an NFL team, Marcus. If I said who's the best you've ever seen, you actually think, well, first of all, Bill Russell, I'm not trying to insult Tom Brady or Bill Russell. These are the greatest winners ever. But we're making the arguments for one and against another. Tom Brady could very well lose his 4th Super Bowl. But it is because
if he wins.
If he wins, he's won 7 out of 10. He's an amazing winner. Jordan never came close to losing in the finals.
Guys, we're going to
There's no Eli Manning. Clyde Drexler wasn't as Eli. It doesn't matter who it was.
It's easier, bro. It's easier, Max.
It's easier because you have Jordan
basketball.
All right, so Marcus is arguing that it's much more difficult to win a Super Bowl than it is NBA Finals. We'll revisit this later. Peyton Manning is the only quarterback to win Super Bowl titles with multiple teams. Let's keep it moving, guys. I want to go to the Chiefs side of things now. Both teams obviously are littered with offensive talent. We know this. And the Chiefs have arguably the best player in football today in Patrick Mahomes. So, Max, tell me this. Who do you think is more important for Mahomes? Do you think it's Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill?
It's Travis Kelce for a number of reasons. Number one, Tyreek Hill burnt them so bad the first time they played, they will never put him in single coverage. I mean, you're going to have to bracket Tyreek Hill throughout the game, period. And that means you're going to have to get pressure with 4. They're going to try, as we know. But here's the thing, and this is why Travis Kelce in this game is more important. The offensive line's a mess. Andy Reid has all 5 guys practicing at all 5 positions on the line because they're thin there and they're missing their 2 best players, Pro Bowl tackles on either side, right? So what does that mean as far as Travis Kelce's concerned? Well, if you know you're going to spend extra resources trying to contain Tyreek Hill, and you know you're going to need help on the line, that means Travis Kelce's going to have to do a whole lot of stuff. He's going to have to help in many facets of the game. He's going to have to help the offensive lineman block so that Mahomes has some time. Like, think of that Bucs defensive front, who they're going to be sending. Vita Vea's back with Ndamukong Suh in the middle. You got the edge rushers, linebackers, and defensive ends coming at you, JPP and Shaquille Barrett, right? He's going to have to help there. He's going to have to help in the run game. He's going to have to block. And he's going to have to catch passes, likely as Patrick Mahomes' primary weapon. He's also a red zone threat. Travis Kelce is going to have to be Mahomes' chief weapon in order for the Chiefs to win.
Well, I disagree with that. I think that Travis Kelce will end up benefiting from the fact that as primetime Deion Sanders came on my show Stephen A's World yesterday and articulated, these cornerbacks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are having nightmares. He said, you got maids working overtime, for crying out loud, because, these guys are tossing and turning all week long thinking about how to defend Tyreek Hill, the man that had 207 yards, 7 receptions, and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter against them, who backpedaled in for 1 touchdown and backflipped in for another. This dude was absolutely positively toying with them. Not to mention, after he did a backflip, he landed on his knees and leaned back and posed. He was mocking them. He was humiliating them. This is how bad this brother is. And if you have to literally focus on him, which you do, obviously, that's going to take some of the pressure off in the middle of the field where Travis Kelce is going to live. You're going to have to find a way to deal with him, no question. But it's going to be because you're prioritizing dealing with Tyreek Hill, because this dude is cat quick. He's the cheetah for a reason, and he is unguardable. You cannot defend him one-on-one. I don't think they can defend him in double coverage. And you saw it, just like where was it against Buffalo, Max? Did you see when they just throw a little past him and what he's able to do?
Little slant, he's gone.
Just with a little slant, he's all over the field. You can't defend him. And I believe because of that, that makes him the most lethal weapon the Kansas City Chiefs have in this game, because he has instilled panic and fear in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and as a result is in a position to compromise anything they want to do defensively. That's why he's the guy. He's the most important weapon for Patrick Mahomes, even if he's a decoy.
Yeah. Man, Max, I wanted to agree with you because I understand everything you said about Kelce. The only delineation I make is the fact that they can get Tyreek Hill the ball without having to protect. Right, all of those jet sweep motions, they put him in the backfield, the usage, like the things that he creates for the guys around him because of the speed. We could talk about his talent, but I'm talking about the usage. Like, I understand the impact. I literally have a tape on Travis Kelce being the influencer to open up things for guys, but it's just the multitude of ways that you can get Tyreek Hill the ball and he can break the game open. We get enamored with the 200 yards receiving in the first quarter against the Bucs, but we forget about the reverses. We forget about the jet sweep motions. We forget how they use him in the backfield to run defenders crazy way before they even snap the football and create all of those type of situations for Patrick Mahomes, and then the ability to uncover. Travis Kelce is the security blanket for Patrick Mahomes, but Tyreek Hill is the home run hitter when he improvises and goes off script and putting the ball in the end zone. So, look, this may be one of the hardest questions I've had on First Take ever, because both of these dudes influence and impact how they play offense. I just think how they use Tyreek
after catch are ridiculous.
Well,
you're right. He doesn't have to get all the way down the field to kill you. But Travis Kelce is even a weapon there, because that little extra time that Mahomes is going to need, Travis Kelce's responsible there. When they run the ball, Travis Kelce's going to have responsibility there. As the safety blanket, like you said, he has responsibility there. And in the red zone, when it's time to score touchdowns, Travis Kelce's a major target. He's going to influence the game at every level of the offense if the Chiefs want to win.
My only issue is 2 things. Number one, I don't consider Tyreek Hill a home run hitter. I consider him a home run hitter hitter, a singles hitter, a doubles hitter,
base stealer,
a base stealer extraordinaire. He does that's number one. And number two, I'm trying to figure out why Swagoo keeps coming on this show talking about how he hates to disagree with you, Max, before he disagrees with you, because he always disagrees with you. Because anybody with sense would disagree with most of the things you say, Max. So I don't understand how Swagoo under the palm trees in Florida is sitting there talking about how he hates to disagree with Max.
Well,
I don't understand why he always saying that.
I don't want to fight with Max every time I come on First Take. When he makes a great point, I agree with my man.
I'm just saying you say you hate disagreeing with him. I mean, what, you sensitive? You scared?
Let me translate.
I do when I agree.
Let me translate.
I do when I agree with some of his argument. And
May I
his
translate,
argument
Marcus?
was strong about Travis Kelce. I just agree with you because we more right. He's right, but we're more right.
Here's the thing.
I accept that.
Here's the thing, Stephen A., that really reflects. I need to explain this. It's that Marcus comes with a very clear idea of what he thinks. He has strong opinions, and they're well thought out. But when he hears a certain level of brilliance, Stephen A., he has to say to himself, even though I think what I think, I have to admit, that's a hell of an argument.
No, I know you got to go.
The Eagles on the screen.
Hold on.
That's my fault.
Let me wrap this up, please.
I would say, could you trim, why since you in Florida and it's warm, could you
know you're
trim
sweating
the
with that
beard
beard.
just a little bit? You have to take it off. Just trim the beard a little bit. Let it look
Why are you
smooth.
so visual,
Super Bowl
Stephen A?
weekend.
It's
Let it look
unbelievable.
smooth.
I do this for the guys that can.
The Chiefs are trying to become the first team to repeat since the 03-04 Patriots. Marcus, behave yourself down there in Tampa. We'll talk to you. We're going to have much more on the Super Bowl, fellas, but there's also some NBA topics. Good to see you. Stay safe. That we need to get into as well. LeBron James, strong comments about the All-Star game, and they might surprise you. We'll give you all those details. We'll share them in just a bit. Obviously, the fellas want to react. And which stiff arm was the most gratifying for Derrick Henry? We'll ask him about that and his Super Bowl prediction when he joins us live.
Indeed presents this Black History Spotlight, powered by the undefeated. Muhammad Ali wasn't lying when he proclaimed, "I am the greatest." The Louisville Lip from Kentucky, born Cassius Clay, emerged as the heavyweight boxing champion of the world in 1964. He even went toe-to-toe with the U.S. government after refusing induction into the military for the Vietnam War, citing religious and ethical reasons. A comeback to win 2 more heavyweight championships, and his pivotal role as a civil rights activist cemented Ali's legacy as a larger-than-life icon.
I lost my job in casting at 50. One of my friends recommended Indeed. Now I'm a casting producer at a digital ad agency. This is the first time I feel like I'm actually valued for all of my experience.
And Coors put a refreshing big game commercial in your dreams.
I saw some mountains.
Buy a pack of Coors Light, get a pack of Coors Seltzer, and try it for yourself at CoorsBigGameDream.com.
Here's the snap, drops, fakes, throws, right on the net. Oh, he drops it. Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, the stuff that nightmares are made of. Wow.
You're probably wondering, what makes these chips taste so good? Here's a hint. It's lime. They taste like lime. Tostitos. Get to the good stuff.
Okay, Limu, you said it. Then as I spike it, I'll tell them how Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance, so they only pay for what they need. Got it? Did you get that? Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The road has been rough, and nothing from hell to sky has turned us back.
Just landed my dream job. I'm a full-time hand model.
Then all this is deductible. You want to hand those taxes off?
That would be nice.
File with the help of an expert, or let an expert file for you. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Riding a bike should be a really fun experience. We make low-maintenance bicycles for everyday riders. We were coming off a great year, and when the pandemic hit, it just stopped. We really had to think creatively. Teams allowed us to do what we call virtual visits.
Hey, is that TK?
Hi, how are you?
We're able to see 2 or 3-fold the amount of customers from all over the world. Without Teams, there's no way this would have been possible.
Our Feel the clarity and live Claritin Clear.
Whoa. The Capital One Quicksilver card does not need a dog and pony show. Quicksilver is simple. It's unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase with no annual fee. No need to jump through any crazy hoops. Will someone tell Fido he can cool it with the hoops? The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet? They're dropping balloons.
Check out this one. Long hair, loves to hike and plays frisbee.
What is he, a Labrador?
So should I meet him?
You're not that adventurous.
Yes, I am. Try me.
Okay. Jump into that lake.
I'll do it.
Let's all do it. I'm in. This is crazy. You coming?
Seriously? It is way too comfortable in here.
This is crazy.
The all-new Sienna. Toyota, let's go places.
Questions in my head, filling me with dread.
So many options. What's the right razor?
So much back hair. Should I get laser?
Should he get laser?
Do I wear too much cologne?
Should I shave my thin and dome?
I become my dad, I'm like his clone.
You got questions, we got answers. You got questions, we got answers. We got you. Now it's all in you.
That Lady T tried the Popeye's chicken sandwich. Have you?
This chicken sandwich tastes like somebody's grandma Lucille fried it twice, prayed over it, then sent it up to God, and he swiped right.
You won't really get it until you get it. Try it now for $3.99.
Grab that chicken from Popeyes.
No matter which shade of blue you bleed, this rivalry is the very best that college basketball has to offer.
In celebration of Black History Month, First Take continues our HBCU Wednesday tour. Next up, we spotlight Howard Country's new Vice President, Kamala Harris. So tune in all month right here on First Take as we recognize Black History Month in historically black colleges and universities. To the NBA we go. Kings guard De'Aaron Fox had some harsh words for the league considering a potential all-star game during the pandemic, calling the idea stupid. Following last night's win over the Nuggets, LeBron James was also asked about the idea of having an all-star game. LeBron, floor is yours.
I have zero energy and zero excitement about an all-star game this year. I don't even understand why we're having an all-star game. Short off season for myself and my teammates with 71 days. And then coming to this season, we were told that we were not having an all-star game. So we had a nice little break, 5 days from the 5th through the 10th, an opportunity for me to kind of recalibrate for the second half of the season, my teammates as well, some of the guys in the league. And then they throw an all-star game on us like this and just breaks that all the way up. So pretty much a kind of a slap in the face.
Stephen A., should there be an NBA All-Star game played this season?
Respectfully speaking, I would say no. I don't disagree with what LeBron James had to say. Now, I would say I find it a bit perplexing that last time I checked, he definitely is first vice president of the NBA Players Association, unless something has changed and I missed it. If I did, I apologize, because I don't pay too much attention to that portion of things. I know Chris Paul is the president. Him and LeBron are very tight. They've known each other for years, and why they don't seem to be on the same page, I don't understand it, because the NBPA, led by Chris Paul and executive director Michelle Roberts, the anticipation is that there will be an all-star game March 7th in Atlanta, Georgia. And that last part is where I definitely side with LeBron James in this respect. Why Atlanta? In the state of Georgia, we all recognize the fact that safety protocols and things of that nature in regards to COVID-19 have been a bit lax compared to places like California, New York, and various other places throughout the United States of America. That's why LeBron James used the word open to describe what kind of environment exists there. Fans are still coming in attendance, not to full capacity, obviously, or anything like that, but things are relatively open in Georgia. Businesses are open. People walking the streets. Folks are being accused of not paying as much attention to COVID-19 as some experts, some scientists, some medical professionals would prefer. We've all talked about this. We've all lamented it. So when LeBron brings that up and he's talking about, the superstars of the NBA descending upon one locale, why would it be that? And the fact that is a question that he has makes it incredibly, incredibly legitimate. He brought up the 71 days off. I understand for him, and I empathize with him because he's the champion and he was the last one standing, Max. But I don't empathize with the rest of the NBA in regards to that. You had a 4-month break from the time the season was suspended in March because of COVID-19 until you came back in July. When you came back in July, most of y'all were going by August, if not early September. So I don't want to hear that as an argument for the league itself. For LeBron, yes. For the rest of the league, no. But when it comes to what he brought up about COVID-19, safety protocols, lack of attention to detail as it pertains to that emanating from the state of Georgia and specifically the city of Atlanta, he brings that up. It's hard to argue with that point that he's making. That much I will say. So I can't say I disagree with him, and I can't say that his points are invalid. I wouldn't have handled it the way De'Aaron Fox handled it by calling it stupid, because remember, Chris Paul and the Players Association are talking about how this is going to benefit HBCUs, revenue generated from it is going to benefit HBCUs, and COVID-19 relief. So it's definitely a worthy cause, and that shouldn't be ignored. And guys like De'Aaron Fox, who are not playing deep into the postseason, obviously, because they didn't make the postseason.
And are very young.
And are very young. I don't want to hear that. But for LeBron, I totally understand where he's coming from.
This is a debate show. But in this case, we're not going to just manufacture debate, because we see this largely the same way. You used the word perplexing. It is perplexing because my understanding is Chris Paul pushed for this. Mm-hmm. So if Chris Paul is pushing for it, Stephen A., is it possible that it took LeBron James unawares? I don't think so. You would think that if Chris Paul is pushing for it, it would be on LeBron James's radar, but I guess we'll find out about that. When I heard De'Aaron Fox's comments, I'm like, calm down. It's stupid to have an all-star game, play the all-star game. But such is LeBron James's status in the sport that when he starts complaining, I start thinking, wait a minute. He practically speaks for the players. Mm-hmm. You hear players on other teams saying, if LeBron does something, and what's interesting to me here is the NBA and the Players Union have really shown the rest of the sports world what cooperation looks like through this entire pandemic. They've been really good partners. So when LeBron airs this grievance publicly, he's saying, short off season, compact season. We were told we were going to get 5 games off in the middle, and now all of a sudden that's taken away. It sounds like it surprised him. And what I'm interested in finding out is that possible? Is that what happened? Because his relationship with Chris Paul has been such that if Chris Paul is indeed, as I've heard, one of the forces behind the All-Star game being played, were he and LeBron at odds behind closed doors? And this is how LeBron's responding? I think more reporting has to come out, on this topic.
Well, I will say this. Where the NBA, if he's absent, and it appears he is, the NBA doesn't have a leg to stand on in one respect. If you told them there wasn't going to be an All-Star game, and now you've changed your mind.
Unilaterally.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
But it seems like if Chris Paul's pushing for it, the NBA's perception is this is not unilateral. Our partners want to do this.
That's fair. That's fair. You're right. And that's something that, I got to ask Chris Paul about that, because that's an answer. That's an answer that we all need to know. Because, again, if LeBron doesn't know about it, that doesn't make any sense. Or if LeBron did know about it and he's just in staunch disagreement with Chris Paul and Chris Paul is moving forward anyway, and all of this is at the behest of Chris Paul because obviously HBCUs are incredibly important to him. And in the interest of full disclosure, myself as well, Chris Paul and I are collaborating on a project in regards to HBCUs. I mean, both of us are executive producing a project. It's coming up in a couple of weeks or so. So definitely, I'm sensitive to that. I understand it. I completely support anything that's going to help.
What's the project? Can you talk about
it? Why Not Us? It's a project that's going to we're going to focus on a basketball program in North Carolina Central University. And Coach Moten, who's a fabulous coach and a great statesman for the game of basketball. But we're just going to highlight some of the challenges that take place in an HBCU program. And it's going to be airing later this month. It's going to be several episodes to it, like 6 or 7 different episodes. And so we're looking forward to doing that. And both of us are executive producers on that project. I would just tell you that those things are incredibly important, and I applaud if that's the agenda, obviously to garner interest or what have you in HBCUs and COVID-19 relief. But in the same breath that I say that, LeBron disagreeing with him is one thing. LeBron being blindsided by something is an entirely different matter. And if neither is the truth, and this is really about something that the NBA wants, and it's inconsistent with what the NBA initially told them before the season started, then you can understand where LeBron is coming from. And that's what appears to be the case.
The reason
I don't know because I haven't spoken to anybody about it.
More reporting,
right?
Just is that De'Aaron Fox, and you pointed it out, is one case. Very different from LeBron. De'Aaron Fox is a young star who does not play deep into the season. Once the season's over, he's going home, right? Mm-hmm. And if he does get to the playoffs, he ain't going to last for long. So that part of the players' union, because not everyone in the players' union has the exact same interest. They're not a monolith. People have different interests depending on where they are in their career. But a guy like De'Aaron Fox says, I don't want this. And a dude on the opposite end of the spectrum, LeBron, who's been around forever and plays deep into the playoffs every year, also doesn't want it. That suggests, at least on the surface, that the union, that various members of the union with different interests didn't want it. And there may be a schism in the union about that issue.
Yeah. And we don't know. And like I said, I haven't spoken to, so this is one of those rare occasions when it comes to the NBA. I don't know any more than you because I haven't spoken to anybody about this as of yet because I just saw the sound from LeBron last night. I didn't call anybody this morning, so I don't know about it. But all of those things are legitimate questions.
Only thing I've heard is that Chris Paul was pushing for this.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know that. I will talk to Chris Paul eventually. I will ask him about that because that's something we all need to know because it will really, really define, whether LeBron is right or wrong on this matter in terms of how things were handled, in terms of the information that he's received and the timing upon which he received those nuggets of information.
Yeah. This is when you really understand both sides, why the players wouldn't want it to happen, obviously, why the NBA would. We'll continue to keep you up to speed on the details regarding the All-Star game. But, guys, we got plenty more football to talk about. Super Bowl, yes, it is this Sunday. Super Bowl upset. How likely will Brady's Bucks upset Mahomes' Chiefs? You might be surprised at Cliff Kellerman's answer. Plus, this is going to be fun. Which stiff arm was the most gratifying for Derrick Henry? He is so good. We'll ask him about that and his Super Bowl pick when he joins us live.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Spicy buffalo, creamy ranch, bready bread. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
Everyone's so busy keeping up. Forget about the Joneses. We all on our telephones with the texts and the tweets and the beats. What he said, she said, can't even follow the thread. Like keeping up too, with my corona and my attitude. That's the fine life, baby.
Stars are flooding up the sky right before my very eyes.
Celebrate the moment with Ferrero Rocher,
Smooth chocolate, crunchy hazelnut, lovingly layered and wrapped in gold.
We make it easy for you. Tax time is here again. Block has options for you, my friend. We can do your taxes virtually. Snap the pic and leave the rest to me. We make it easy. Experts on your phone. You don't have to leave home. We'll get it done right. You can sleep well tonight. In person or virtually. We make it easy for you. Block has your back.
Gosh it, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip Hop Group Tag Team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop that is, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Sprinkle.
Go Pro at Subway for double the protein on any footlong or on any new protein bowl. So many ways to go pro at Subway. It's not amateur team, it's protein, baby. Go Pro and get double the protein for just $2 more. Subway, eat fresh.
Is this really happening? I think a few unsavory characters settling in the neighborhood.
Are you here to help us?
I think something's wrong here.
There's no need to get dramatic.
Did you really not see what I saw?
We have everything under control.
A new age of television has begun, and you won't believe what's next. Marvel is finally back. WandaVision, now streaming on Disney+. And upgrade to the Disney Bundle for even more.
He has something that I want. He's gonna be a warrior.
Kamaru Usman! He is a monster! Gilbert Durinho Burns! To the very last second till we're running out the clock.
Break free from 2020 and get moving at Planet Fitness in our clean and spacious clubs. And use our crowd meter for the best time to visit. Join now for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Deal ends January 7th.
This is what community looks like. Caring for each other. Protecting each other. And as the COVID vaccine rolls out, we'll be ready to administer it.
Tip of your weekend with our next big NBA Friday doubleheader. The Raptors' 6-game road trip takes them to Brooklyn to take on the Nets, led by their big three, 7:30 Eastern. Then Jason Tatum and the Celtics continue their West Coast swing in LA against Kawhi and the Clippers. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown, 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app.
He is the baddest man in the NFL!
If you in my vision, I'm trying to run past you,
94 yards!
run through you,
Throws a man down!
or make you miss.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm going to the end zone.
Touchdown! Titans!
When I see you in the grass, I'm thinking, let's go.
All right, joining us now, one of the best players in the NFL, the Titans' Derrick Henry. King Henry in a throne, so fitting, joining us on behalf of Old Spice Dynasty. Good to see you, and that chair is legit. I'm into the whole thing. Derrick, right? That's the truth. Derrick, we want to have a little fun with you. So obviously you have these monster runs, but it's really your stiff arms on Sundays that give me life. So I want to show you a couple of them. I want to start with the Josh Norman one, and I just need you to take us through it and react to it, please. So we'll get those going for you right now.
That was an inside run. Oh, my Lord. I bounced outside. He came down one-on-one. I thought he was going to go low, but he stayed high. And then I got my hand on the shoulder, and then the rest was history.
Yeah, the rest is history, to say the least. All right, we got Alex Myers, too. Take us through this one. Do your own play-by-play, King Henry.
It was the same type of play. Inside running to the left. I bounced outside. He came down the same way, and I was like, "There's no way he about to stay high," and he did. And I was like, "Here it goes." I just tried to throw him out the club, really.
He said, "Throw him out the club." He just says, "Throw him out the club." Is that it? Because I got a couple of questions. My man.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations on a great season. Rushed for 2,027 yards. I think one of like the 9th person in NFL history to ever do that. But last time we saw you, you had 40 yards against the Baltimore Ravens in the postseason. You did not look happy. You only had 18 carries that game. As you reflect on that game, do you believe you should have gotten the ball more, or was it just one of those situations where it was Baltimore's day and it was not y'all's?
Yeah, they definitely played better on defense than we did on offense. We didn't play to our standard and how we needed to play to be able to win that game. And I feel like I didn't play my best game as well. And they just played better. I don't make no excuse. They were the better team that day, and that's why they won. No matter how many carries I got, I feel like I could have been more effectively. We could have played better on offense, but we didn't, and they won.
Obviously, teams are going to try and stack the box and key in on you. And the amazing thing about your career so far is, I mean, if a team devotes enough players to a running back, they can stop him. But for the most part, including in the playoffs, everyone knows what's coming. And here he comes, and yet you get those yards anyway. Before this year, averaging over 5 yards a carry through the playoffs on a ton of carries. To me, that makes you a clutch player, even though you don't usually think of like running backs that way. Is there something about you or your preparation for big games, for the big moment, that's different than your normal preparation? How is it that you're able to perform under the bright lights when everyone knows what's coming?
I don't let it get too big. I don't let it overwhelm me. But I mean, I love the pressure. I love the big moments. I love being the one that team depends on to make plays, and that's how I approach every game. That I gotta go out there and make plays. I gotta do my best version. I gotta play at a high level to give us success and give us the best chance to win. That's always approach.
You know I believe in you. You're a stud, no question about it. But I do have a concern. You carried the ball 378 times this season. You know how they talk about running backs and how you reach a certain age and then that's it. You're no longer of value. You know how they stigmatize y'all in that regard. Yeah. Are you concerned that you've been carrying the ball, or this season that you carried the ball too much? Or is that something that you want to continue into the future, knowing that it's the kind of thing that could ultimately be held against you in 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, they always, that's a stigma about running backs. You get too many carries and, they start slowing down. My body feels good. I feel fine. I started working out like 2 days after the season. I've been working out ever since. And I feel like my body feels good and I'm ready to carry the load again. I can take 378 more next season, even more than that. I definitely want to get that Lombardi trophy and have a Super Bowl ring. So as long as I can play, I'm going to keep trying to play at a high level and keep doing what I do each and every season and be better.
Derek, you guys last several years are a respected team. Everyone expects you to make the playoffs, expects you to be a tough out. But I don't hear people picking you guys to win the Super Bowl. What do you think it is that you need to take the next step as a team?
After making the AFC championship in 2019 and then falling short this year in the first round of the playoffs. But from this season we did win the division, which we haven't done in a long time. And I think just us falling short, just being motivated from this, let it fuel us. Let it, coming into the season hungry. The time comes around, coming into camp, and then of course free agency and drafting players. But when it's all set in stone, just making sure that we have that mindset that being better than last year, being motivated, knowing that we got knocked out, knowing that we had there was more expected for us to do in the playoffs, and just fueled off that. Come in hungry and be complacent and want to hit on all cylinders in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams.
All right. King Henry, I know you're sitting on your throne there. The only thing you're missing is a nice robe and a cigar, and it's fitting, staying so fresh and so clean with Old Spice Dynasty that you're linked up with them. What are you doing with them?
Yeah, it's been a tough year for everyone, and everyone needs that spark of confidence. Starting your day with Old Spice Dynasty, cologne quality scent deodorant. You can smell ready for anything.
I'm into it. Derek, who's winning the Super Bowl? Who you got?
Got the Chiefs, the reigning champs. I think Chiefs won by 7.
Why? Be specific, man. You know your football. I need some more analysis, bro. Break it down.
I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Bucs been playing their best football they've been playing all year. They got a great defense. They're fast on defense. They're physical. I mean, Tom Brady's the GOAT. It's hard to go against him, but the Chiefs, they're so dynamic on offense. And the moments that they need to deliver. So I'm going to go with the reigning champs. But I think the Chiefs win by 7.
All right. Derek Henry taking the Chiefs. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for the time and all the good stuff with Old Spice Dynasty. We appreciate you. Stay safe.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me.
See you soon, bro.
All right. When we come back here on First Take, we're talking Super Bowl upset. How likely Brady's Bucs upset Mahomes' Chiefs? Wait until you hear Cliff Kellerman's answer. Greatest of all time. Who will be considered the greater tight end in their prime? Is it Gronk? Buckle up for that debate.
Sometimes the smallest gestures can be the most refreshing. Give extra, get extra.
Pick up like a pro. Just order on the Subway app, and it's ready to go with contactless curbside. Turkey sub and a hot tub. Now get 15% off any footlong when you order in the app.
Wow, that's a low price.
Oh wow, that's a low price. What?
Ooh, that's a low price.
You're so good at low prices.
Yeah.
Circle back on that later.
That's a low price.
Damn, you're off mute, buddy.
No, low price.
Douglas.
Low price.
That's a low price. I'm kind of curious.
With everyday low prices at Amazon, anytime is a good time to save.
Between sudden snowfalls, slick ice, and freezing temperatures, winter can be pretty unpredictable. But the one thing you can predict is that the legendary capability of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever, can handle it all. Jeep Grand Cherokee, there's only one.
Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months on select 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee models.
Did you know you can go to libertymutual.com to customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
Really? I had to... Okay, I'm on vibrate.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and its mission is to give you truly transformative sleep. So no more tossing and turning, or trouble falling asleep. Because only Tempur-Pedic uses proprietary Tempur material that continuously adapts and responds to your body to relieve pressure. So you get deep, uninterrupted sleep all night, every night. Now's a perfect time to renew your sleep with the one-of-a-kind comfort of Tempur-Pedic and save up to $500 on adjustable mattress sets. Learn more at TempurPedic.com.
Vision, this is our home.
Are you sure? Be there. When everything changes.
I have everything under control.
WandaVision, now streaming only on Disney+.
What's my safe flight story? I spend a lot of time in my truck. It's my livelihood. So I'm not taking any chances when something happens to it. So when my windshield cracked, my friend recommended Safe Flight Auto Glass. It came right to me with expert service where I needed it. That's service I can trust, no matter what I'm hauling. Right, girl?
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
Meet football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
Give mom the gift of food. With salads or soups or chicken fried steak. Or send good tidings with a slice of cake. Gift food for any occasion. New on DoorDash.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I opened a SoFi Money account, and it was the first time that I realized I can be earning interest back on my money.
I just discovered SoFi, and I'm an investor with a diversified portfolio. Who am I?
I refinanced my student loan with SoFi because of their low interest rates.
Thanks, SoFi, for helping us get our money right. Thank you.
I'm nervous.
Let's see how this goes.
Hey!
So glad I met you.
I want to show you my balcony too.
Oh, it's so pretty. Really fry up the outsides of it.
Here's to starting something great. Match.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Woo! It doesn't get more Arby's than this. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
UFC Fight Night is tomorrow. Alistair Overeem still at it. The prelims start at 5 Eastern on ESPN Plus, followed by the main card. That is at 8 Eastern. We've got much more debate to come your way on this Feel Good Friday. Did I mention it's also Super Bowl Friday? Here's what we got. It may be the greatest quarterback battle in Super Bowl history, so how likely is Teflon Tom to lead his Bucs to an upset over Mahomes? We debate it. Plus, who will be remembered as the greatest player in his prime? Is it Gronk or Kelsey? Do I hear another GOAT discussion? Yes, please. And it was one of the best stiff arms of the season. We heard from Derrick Henry. Now it's time to get Josh Norman's take when he joins us live. First take on a Super Bowl Friday. Don't go anywhere.
Here comes Super Bowl week.
Let's go!
And NFL Network is here for it.
We've been waiting all season for this.
Our legends.
I'm ready to go.
Our insiders.
Let's get this popping.
Your 24/7 destination.
What a celebration it's going to be.
Over 70 hours of live coverage.
We just get started. So many great storylines within this game.
2 teams.
This is as big as it gets.
1 epic game.
This is outstanding.
NFL Network, here for Super Bowl 55. Here for football.
Ballin'. On a budget? Try the new $1 Your Way menu at Burger King, featuring a flame-grilled bacon cheeseburger. Value this good is hard to find anywhere else. The new $1 Your Way menu, now at Burger King. Your way, way better.
New Tic Tac Big Berry Adventure. 100 layers of flavor for that refreshing and delicious taste. Refreshing moments are just a Tic Tac away.
Sarah, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Captain Ahab to help you find a parking spot?
There she blows! Whoop. Loading zone, darn it. Pull hard to starboard!
Too small!
Seriously? Because it... follow him! Steady, steady. Go! Thunderation to the northern lot, where there be parking spaces as big as whales!
Geico. See all the ways you could save.
The Lexus ES, now available with all-wheel drive.
This rain is bananas.
Lease the 2021 ES250 all-wheel drive for $349 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Think you're managing your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease? I did, until I realized something was missing. Me. My symptoms were keeping me from being there for him. So I talked to my doctor and learned Humira is for people who still have UC or Crohn's symptoms after trying other medications. And Humira helps people achieve remission that can last, so you can experience few or no symptoms.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Be there for you and them. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, remission is possible.
Steph is a truly great player.
Luka, he's the most talented guy in the NBA.
Another dazzling display of shooting. There's the triple-double for Luka.
Talking about one of the two-time MVPs.
This is the Luka Doncic who most of us predicted is going to be MVP this year.
It's NBA on ESPN time. Warriors Mavs tomorrow on ABC.
You could do so.
New things, you can't stop us. No strings, you can't stop us. We're kings, we're queens. Big dreams, you can't stop us. You can't stop us now. Can't stop us.
GNC has all the best flavors to help you crush your wellness routine over and over again. Now, try Beyond Raw Lit Jolly Rancher flavors in Take Anywhere cans.
This is what community looks like. Caring for each other. Protecting each other. And as the COVID vaccine rolls out, we'll be ready to administer it.
Hi, my name's Anthony Mackey. In honor of my brother, Dr. Calvin Mackey, who's a proud graduate of Morehouse College, I would like to celebrate all of the amazing contributions and triumphs of Black people as we honor Black History Month.
Anthony Mackey, thank you kindly, sir. We have another full day of college hoops across all our networks. Saturday highlighted by North Carolina and Duke, a classic one and a sonic blockbuster, 6 Eastern. Then it's the border battle between Tennessee and Kentucky at Rupp Arena. Both of those games on ESPN and on the app.
Tampa Bay is heading to the Super Bowl.
It's been a great journey thus far. It's a tough game. The next one will be really tough too.
The Chiefs Kingdom captures the trophy and it stays here. Yes!
Touchdown Tampa Bay.
Fournette on a 20-yard run. Oh my goodness, that is game altering.
Wide receiver screen into the end zone. And the Chiefs have 3 touchdowns in as many drives. How about those Chiefs?
Now home Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history. If anytime you're the first doing something, it's usually a pretty good thing.
Yes, sir. Super Bowl showdown. Showtime Mahomes, TB12. The Chiefs are favored by 3. Oh, Max Kellerman, how likely is it that Brady's Bucks, Tom Brady in the cliff, Tom Brady in the ravine, upset the greatest player you've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
Very likely. I'm surprised, legitimately surprised, and don't think the Chiefs should be favored here. And consider this, they're favored still by a field goal. The Bucks are at home. That suggests that on a neutral site, or, certainly if they were at home, but even on a neutral site, it would be more than 3 points that the Chiefs are favored by, maybe 4.5 points, something like that. The point is, when I look at this game, you look at the rankings of the players by ESPN, by all different outlets, the general consensus is 4 of the 5 best players in the game are on the Chiefs. 10 of the best 15 are on the Bucks. In other words, the high-end talent, the Chiefs have better than the Bucks. But the depth of great talent, the Bucks have better than the Chiefs. And that's really significant here. Think about the Bucks. The whole thing is you got to get pressure with 4 on Mahomes. Vita Vea, the big nose tackle, was supposed to be out for the season after the Chicago game. If people remember, he was reported as out for the season. He's back with Ndamukong Suh in the middle. They have Shaquille Barrett and JPP on the outside. They are ferocious up front. Their linebacking tandem, arguably the best in football. Their front 7 is really ridiculously good. And by the way, they're banged up at safety, but their secondary has been covering everyone. And all 3 levels of the defense have been taking the ball away, have been creating turnovers. And then you look at the Chiefs missing their two best offensive line players, both offensive tackles out. There's not going to be a pocket for Mahomes. There's going to be pressure off the edges on Mahomes. And think of the weapons. Only O.J. Howard isn't available on offense. They have name-brand running backs who still have gas in the tank behind an offensive line that was playing absolutely elite this season. The Bucs have an elite offensive line, top 5. The Bucs have receivers everywhere you look. No one's even talking about Antonio Brown in this game. They have so many receivers. The only reason the Chiefs are favored, really, when you analyze it, replace Mahomes with any other quarterback, I don't believe they're favored. I think that people don't even realize how good they think Mahomes is. That's the reason the Chiefs are favored. I also like them to win, but I consider that an upset. When I analyze the game, if I took Mahomes out and just put another great quarterback in, I wouldn't be taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, but to me, just my personal thing is that makes no sense, because if Mahomes is everything that you say he is, unless they're planning on kidnapping him or he's getting injured prior to the game or something, he's going to be there. And because he's going to be there, you combine that with the level of greatness you've religiously talked about him being in possession of, then I'm sorry, that puts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at a decided disadvantage. Then when you take into account the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've got a top 8 defense. They are number 1 against the run. And who are they going against? A team that could give a damn about running the football because they want to pass all day, okay? And oh, by the way, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ranked 21st against the pass. And their worst performance against the pass was against the very team that they're about to go in the Super Bowl against when they gave up 269 yards passing to Tyreek Hill all by his lonesome, 207 yards in the first half. I just look at it from the standpoint, do I give the Buccaneers a chance? Yes, I do. Because I think when you look at the weapons that they have, whether it's Gronk, whether it's Antonio Brown, the Mike Evans, the Chris Godwins, assuming Chris Godwin catches balls and he's not dropping any footballs. I like him, but damn it, you've been dropping too many balls, Chris Godwin. Stop dropping the damn football, okay? You got to take those things into consideration. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint that those weapons give them about a 30% chance of winning this game. But that's about all, because I think that Kansas City is such a juggernaut offensively that whatever it is, and I'm also remembering Tom Brady threw three interceptions in the second half against Green Bay. You can't make any mistakes against Kansas City. You can't do it. You do that, you're going to pay a very, very, very heavy price. And by the way, Max, I don't think the first game was as close as the score indicated. I think that Kansas City took their foot off the gas. They were up to a 17-0 lead in the first quarter. They could have ran away with it, but they just don't do that nearly as much as they should. I think the Super Bowl is a different ball game, however, and I expect them to win this game, even though I got the final score being 38-34.
Yeah, you're talking about the Chiefs' offense, and that is why I like the Chiefs, because I think Mahomes is going to perform yet another miracle. He's a miracle, man. He's going to perform a miracle and beat them by the skin of their teeth. And I don't think it's going to
require a miracle.
The Bucs, by the way, Tom Brady, all the Super Bowls are close. He doesn't blow anybody out, and he doesn't get blown out. They always seem to come down to the wire. That'll be the case here.
They were down 28-3.
And I like, what's that?
They were down 28-3.
But how did it end?
I'm just saying, if they're down 28-3 to Patrick Mahomes, you think they're coming back?
Here's the thing. The Chiefs' red zone defense is a real weakness for them. It's really not good. Bad red zone defense. And as much as we're focusing on the Chiefs' offense and how it doesn't matter how good the Bucs' defense is, Mahomes will find a way with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and these guys. What about the Bucs' offense? The Bucs have an elite offense. Tom Brady in a big game, as we know, is deadly. And look around. Evans, Godwin, AB, Scotty Miller. Gronk is there. Like, they have multiple tight ends with an offensive line that's playing elite. We're not paying enough attention to the Bucs' offense versus the Chiefs' defense. It's the biggest mismatch in the game.
Well, that's why we're expecting Tampa Bay to score points. The problem is we don't expect them to score enough points. And nobody assuming that Kansas City is going to hold Tampa Bay's offense in complete check. It's just enough check for Mahomes to walk away.
But you got a 4-point game.
Champion. I got a 4-point game.
All right, guys, this is the first time ever we're going to have the two past Super Bowl winners facing off in a Super Bowl. We'll keep it moving here. When we come back, we want to focus on the defenses in this matchup. Dan Orlovsky will join us for that. Which quarterback will have the most trouble with the opposing defense? We get into it. Plus, greatest of all time, who will be considered the greater tight end in their prime? Is it Rob Gronkowski or is it Travis Kelce?
Doug.
Hey, Limu. How great is it that we get to tell everybody how Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need? I mean, oh, sorry. Whoops. Meow, good evening. Oh, meow. Nope. Oh, what? I'm an emu. No, buddy. Buddy, it's a filter. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. These fudge brownie M&Ms are really fudgy.
Yes, they are.
To put a fudge brownie center in an M&M's is...
Genius. I know.
I was going to say hard. Why won't you... Ah! Why won't you go in?
Fudge brownie M&Ms.
We're coming for you, Lucky.
This St. Patrick's Day, me clover charms turn milk green.
Where'd he go? We must have made a wrong turn.
Turn your milk green with these special Lucky charms. They're magically delicious.
Someday I'll ask you a question that will change me forever.
If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting.
Start your someday with a ring from the Neil Lane collection. Available at K.
Arby's, 2 for $6. Every day. Spicy buffalo, creamy ranch, bready bread. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
T-Mobile is upgrading its network at a record pace. We were the first to bring 5G nationwide. And now that Sprint is a part of T-Mobile, we're turning up the speed. Upgrading over 1,000 towers a month with ultra-capacity 5G to bring speeds as fast as Wi-Fi to cities and towns across America. And we're adding more every week. Coverage and speed. Who says you can't have it all?
Oh, great. The show's starting.
Come on. Just trust me. Oh, trust you, like with the dollar oysters.
I don't think those were oysters.
You survived, so...
Wait, we can't go that way.
Watch this. They'll think we're VIP.
Wow. He does think we're VIP.
And backstage. Trust me now?
I never doubted you.
I did for a second, but it's gone now. I trust you.
The all-new Sienna. Toyota. Let's go places.
And Coors put a refreshing big game commercial in your dreams.
I saw some mountains.
Buy a pack of Coors Light, get a pack of Coors Seltzer, and try it for yourself at CoorsBigGameDream.com.
Hiring is challenging, especially for key roles.
Finding the right people is a very difficult task. ZipRecruiter finds us the best people for the job. They sent my jobs to the top job sites and found people with the right skills and experience. We've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
ZipRecruiter, rated the #1 hiring site. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/fans.
What if you could go into the past, back before the fishing line was cast, to see that it was sustainable wild caught, so you can feel good about the fish that you bought? We know the story of all the fish that we've sold, because that's what makes us whole.
I have the power to lower my blood sugar and A1C.
Because I can still make my own insulin, and Trulicity activates my body to release it, like it's supposed to.
Trulicity is for type 2 diabetes. It's not insulin, and I only need to take it once a week. Plus, it lowers the risk of cardiovascular events.
Trulicity isn't for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Don't take Trulicity if you're allergic to it, you or your family have medullary thyroid cancer, or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, changes in vision, or diabetic retinopathy. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with sulfonylurea or insulin raises low blood sugar risk. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, belly pain, and decreased appetite, which lead to dehydration and may worsen kidney problems.
I have it within me to lower my A1C.
Ask your doctor about Trulicity.
Tip of your weekend with our next big NBA Friday doubleheader. The Raptors' 6-game road trip takes them to Brooklyn to take on the Nets, led by their big three, 7:30 Eastern. Then Jason Tatum and the Celtics continue their West Coast swing in LA against Kawhi and the Clippers. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown 7 Eastern on ESPN in the app. All right. Before I get into our next debate topic, Stephen A., I know you wanted to mentioned something.
Yeah, I spoke to a source within the NBA league office, and they said, first of all, they said we never canceled All-Star Weekend. Some players must have assumed when we announced that we weren't going to Indianapolis for All-Star Weekend that the game was canceled, which is understandable. But even when they did the schedule, they said we had in the release that plans for All-Star would be announced at a later date. So it was never announced that there would not be an All-Star Weekend. There are players that are assuming that. That's perfectly reasonable, but that's not what their intent was. It's good for business. There are a number of players who want to play and want All-Star Weekend to take place. That's the belief or whatever. So
isn't
that's
that
what it
still
is.
bizarre, though? Like, it needs more reporting still, because does that mean that it means either the league did a very bad job of communicating to the players, like obviously if LeBron doesn't know, or LeBron's turning a blind eye because he didn't want to play the All-Star.
Or LeBron and his communication with CP3 isn't up to snuff. Something's awry. Something is missing in all of this. And by the way, I will say this to LeBron. LeBron is a superstar. He is the face of the NBA. All-Star Weekend wouldn't be the same without him. But there have been stars throughout NBA history that may have missed an All-Star game or two. If you feel that adamant about it, don't go.
All right.
They didn't say
speaking
that
of the
part.
best of the
I'm
best, we're
saying
talking
no,
about
I get it.
All-Stars.
All right.
Yeah. No, I understand. And we'll continue to keep everyone at home updated on the latest details with the All-Star approaching. Fellas, when we're talking the best of the best, I want to focus on tight ends. And Travis Kelce, obviously Rob Gronkowski, both playing in this one. They're both 31 years old, and they're both absolutely exceptional. Max, let me ask you this. When it's all said and done, who do you think will be considered the greatest in their prime, Kelce or Gronk?
Gronk. No knock on Kelce. He's amazing. But Gronkowski's the best I've ever seen. And I'm old enough to have seen, like Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez and just name a great tight end from the modern era. I've watched them play. I'm 47 years old. Gronk is the best I've seen. He's the best I've seen. The biggest mismatch, 6'6", 270. He could do every single thing, and he was the most potent tight end weapon. And by the way, blocked, like having an extra offensive lineman for real, did everything you wanted a tight end to do. Guys, he also was a fixture in the playoffs for how many years? Was Tom Brady, except for 1 year with Randy Moss, by far most talented pass catcher. And incidentally, you said it, they're both 31 years old, but Gronk has taken a beating and is obviously no longer in his prime. So what I've seen as the best from Travis Kelce, to me, still is not good as the best of Gronk. Unless Kelce gets better than this, we've already seen the best of Gronk, and that's the best of all time, in my opinion.
Gronk is a stud. Gronk's a big boy that will run over you. But in terms of overall skill and what have you, I put Travis Kelce up there with anybody at the tight end spot. This brother's legit. He's an exceptional route runner. He's an exceptional pass catcher. He makes yardage after the catch. We understand that Gronk was special in that regard as well. And I would remind everybody, there was a couple of 1,000-yard-plus seasons that Travis Kelce had long before Patrick Mahomes ever came along. So it ain't like he's a product of Patrick Mahomes. This brother is the real deal. Travis Kelce can ball. And I would tell you, in terms of greater in his prime or whatever, I'd put Travis Kelce right up there with Gronk, because to me, this is Travis Kelce's prime. And look at what he's doing. We saw what Gronk did. He had 4,000-plus yard receivers as a tight end in his career. Travis Kelce has 5 thus far. Again, I look at Travis Kelce right now, as being in his prime at the age of 31. I just view it that way, and I say, hey, Travis Kelce right now against Gronk, and Gronk was in his prime, I don't mind going with Kelce. Doesn't bother me at all.
Well, Kelce's great. Kelce's an all-time great, obviously.
It's an all-time great. He's a future Hall of Famer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Kelce and George Kittle, it's an argument when both those guys are healthy. And in fact, because of Kittle's blocking, I'll give him a very slight edge over Kelce. But that's 1A and 1B. Either way you want it. When Gronk was in his prime, because he's not in his prime anymore, there was no 1B. It wasn't like, I wonder if this guy is as good as Gronk.
That's not, whoa. Well, it wasn't a 1B, because George Kittle and Travis Kelce weren't playing back then. If Gronk was in his prime right now, we would be talking about the 3.
I think if Gronk was
we'd be talking about the 3.
This is basically the argument.
Right.
If Gronk was in his prime right now, I think it'd be Gronk 1 and these two be battling it out for 2. I'll say this: Gronk's health is a factor. Kelce may wind up with the better career numbers and all that stuff because
I'm not going by numbers.
Always stay on the field.
I'm being fair to you there. I'm not going by the numbers. That's why I didn't really bring it up, because I understand Gronk, age, injuries, attrition. We all know that he wanted to walk away from the game because he had been, psychologically, it just got to him being injured all the time and playing with Bill Belichick in Foxborough. And I keep telling people, damn it, those hits hurt more in Foxborough than they do in
that
Florida.
cold weather.
That cold weather, when you get hit, it hurts, okay? So I'll give you that. Travis Kelce's in Missouri. You know how cold it gets in Missouri? Let me tell you something. He's still doing what he's doing. Travis Kelce right now in his prime, with Gronk in his prime, with George Kittle in his prime, I still think we're having this discussion about Travis Kelce and Gronk right there. I'm telling you, the brother's special.
Gronk, think about when he was not the same pass catcher anymore and the separation wasn't quite the same, although there's always kind of separation if Gronk is on the field. He's so big, such a
he run you over.
Yeah, he run you over.
Yeah.
Think about the way he blocked his last year in New England. When he knew he could give you value there, it was he's like having a legit other elite lineman the way he was blocking. He's just look. These guys are all operating on a certain level. Gronk is the biggest. I thought he was the most high-level performer I've ever seen at the position.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. Agree to disagree. All right, fellas, when we come back, it's a battle for the ages in terms of the quarterback position. Teflon Tom versus Showtime Mahomes. So which one will have the most trouble with the opposing defense? Dan Orlovsky will join that debate. And it was one of the best stiff arms of the season. We heard from Derrick Henry. Now it's time to get Josh Norman's take when he joins us live. Don't miss it.
The fighting spirit is one we all share. It's the steady beat in the story of Anderson .Paak, the story of his immigrant mother raising 4 children on her own. His own story of a man who came from nothing, who found purpose and success in the booth of a recording studio. Anderson .Paak found his fighting spirit and uses it to inspire others through his music. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters what you're made of. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit.
There's spicy, and then there's spicy. Which is why we put our new Mighty Hot Sauce on the side, in a covered container. And you have to ask for it. Spicy Chicken McNuggets, they're back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tostitos avocado salsa. We put all of this in here, so you can put it on, well, just about anything. Tostitos avocado salsa. Get to the good stuff.
Again, Mom. It's raining. Mom, gotta go potty.
Yum, yum, yum.
Mommy, I spilled.
Oh, no.
When are we gonna be there?
We're here. You coming?
I need 1 second.
Find new adventures together in the new Santa Fe with user profiles.
Who's that? A free TurboTax live tax expert.
Why do you need a tax expert?
His advice is free, and I can file for free.
Is my son still a dependent if he eats my food?
File a simple return for free, now with advice from a TurboTax live expert.
Riding a bike should be a really fun experience. We make low-maintenance bicycles for everyday riders. We were coming off a great year, and when the pandemic hit, it just stopped. We really had to think creatively. Teams allowed us to do what we call virtual visits. Hey, is that TK?
Hi, how are you?
We're able to see 2- or 3-fold the amount of customers from all over the world. Without Teams, there's no way this would have been possible. And I really think it's going to set a standard for retail moving forward.
Finally moved in.
It's a great old house. Good bones, wraparound porch.
The pipes are making strange noises. Even the plumbers couldn't help us.
Nope.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which saves us a ton.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Is the salmon wild caught?
She only eats wild caught.
I need a price check on honey.
Don't get mad, get E-Trade and get more than just trading. Investing, banking, guidance.
Questions in my head, filling me with dread.
So many options. What's the right razor?
So much back hair. Should I get laser?
Should he get laser?
Do I wear too much cologne? Should I shave my thin and dome?
I become my dad, I'm like his clone. You got questions, we got answers. You got questions, we got answers. We got you. Now it's all in you.
Now through February 11th, join Planet Fitness for no enrollment. With all this variety, you can move it in our clean and spacious clubs. America, your fitness is essential. Join today for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Hurry, deal ends February 11th.
Allow us to reintroduce the right amount of spicy, lightly breaded and spicy tempura made with a blend of aged cayenne. If you're meeting for the first time, lucky you. Spicy Chicken McNuggets, they're back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I be feeling like I don't be popping enough, I be humble. Hang up the phone on the air, block the number. I told you don't play with me. I do my little dancey dance. I got my pants with bands, we playing.
Coming up on First Take.
Short to the right, it's intercepted. Picked off Josh Norman, brings it back. Touchdown, Buffalo.
If Frank Clark and Chris Jones' name don't pop up all over this stat sheet, then they didn't get what they needed to get done, and we may be sitting here talking about the Bucs winning the Super Bowl.
When you think about who has the ball last, that could determine the outcome of this game.
30 minutes, commercial free, coming up.
Don't let the comfort fool you. Don't let the attention to detail lead you to believe that a Honda is a delicate machine. You'd be wrong. Underneath every surface that carries a Honda badge, there has always been the capacity to amaze. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Pilot, Passport, and CR-V. Get financing as low as 0% APR on select 2021 Honda vehicles, available for well-qualified buyers.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Ooh, it doesn't get more Arby's than this. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
Sometimes the smallest gestures can be the most refreshing. Give extra, get extra.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I only pay for what I need. What a great day. What an okay day. What a messed up.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have.
We make it easy for you. Want to get the max refund? Our experts can get it done. We make it easy. Get deductions you need, and that's our guarantee. In person or virtually, Block has your back.
Feel the clarity of non-drowsy Claritin and 24-hour relief from symptoms caused by over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens. Try Claritin Cool Mint Chewables for powerful allergy relief plus a cooling sensation. Live Claritin Clear.
Meet football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
This is the story of two Bills. One is used to things being hard. The other found a smarter way. One does it how it's always been done. The other does it better.
So, which one is yours? Maximize your savings, invest from anywhere, finance your home. For all things money.
Thank you for calling Ally.
Have you tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich made with our buttermilk crispy chicken and our delicious toasted brioche buns with spicy or classic mayo? If you haven't, try it today for just $3.99.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
You talking about one of the two-time MVPs.
This is the Luka Doncic who most of us predicted is going to be MVP this year.
It's NBA on ESPN time. Warriors Mavs on ABC.
I had saved up some money and then found the home of my dreams. But my home of my dreams needed some work.
So if I was a first lender that even offered a personal loan, and I didn't even know that was an option.
The personal loan let us renovate our single-family house into a multi-unit home.
And I get to live in this beautiful house with this beautiful kitchen. And it's all thanks to SoFi.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Spicy buffalo, creamy ranch, bready bread. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
It has been said that I have 2 alternatives. Either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice.
I want people to say that LeBron James did it his way.
LeBron James with no regard for human life.
Tennis is a sport that I absolutely love. It's my life, whether I'm playing or I'm not playing.
It's pretty awesome. I really wanted to get to 23 so bad, more than you could ever imagine, and I can't believe it.
Curry launches a 3. Puts it in again! Steph Curry from downtown!
I just said this is the greatest player I've ever seen.
Naomi Osaka, back-to-back Grand Slam champion. Anytime I'm in the breath in the same sentence as Kobe and Mike, and even some of the rest of the greats, it's just very humbling just to know where I come from.
We're celebrating Black excellence here on First Take in celebration of Black History Month. First Take continues our HBCU Wednesday tour. Next up, we spotlight Howard University, alma mater of the country's new Vice President, Kamala Harris. So tune in all month right here on First Take as we recognize Black History Month in historically Black colleges and universities. All right, y'all, we've done a lot of talk this week about Sunday's big game, and we focused a lot on the quarterbacks, on the offensive weapons. I want to look at the other side of the ball. Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Dominican Sue, JPP, Shaq Barrett. So much talent. Dan Orlovsky joining us now from Tampa. Dan, thank you so much for being with us. But, Stephen A., I'm going to start with you here. Who do you think has the tougher matchup on the defensive side?
Well, to me, on the defensive side, what do you mean on the defensive side? It would be.
I mean, which quarterback is going up against the tougher defense?
I'm going to have to sit up there and say Tom Brady. You know why? Because Tom Brady's a stationary target. It's not to say that Tampa Bay's defense is worse than Kansas City's. I'm not trying to imply that. But I think with Patrick Mahomes, his pocket presence, his ability to fling the football, the talent that he has at his disposal, available to him, his mobility, I think all of that makes it less tougher for him to go up against Tampa's defense than it's going to be for Brady to go up against Kansas City's defense. Kansas City's defense with the Honey Badger in the secondary, with them brothers that can get Chris Jones and those others that can get to the quarterback, along with Tom Brady being a stationary target, I think makes the road to prosperity in a game of this magnitude far more difficult for Tom Brady than it would be for Patrick Mahomes.
I think Patrick Mahomes is clearly facing the better defense here. First of all, the Chiefs are no good in the red zone. You think that might be a problem against the Tom Brady team with elite offensive line play and weapons everywhere you look? Yeah, I think so. But also, what's like football, the more it changes, some things stay the same. It's still very much about the line of scrimmage. The Bucs offensive line, which was supposed to be improved, but not elite this year, played elite this year. Top 5 offensive line. I would say, Dan, you correct me if I'm wrong. Seems to me a top 5-ish offensive line in the game. They can protect Tom Brady. They can block for the run. They can do a whole lot. But what about the Chiefs' offensive line? Chiefs' offensive line is in tatters. Andy Reid, I keep saying, has all 5 guys playing at all 5 positions on the line throughout practice this week because he's going to need it. Both Pro Bowl caliber offensive tackles are out. So you have Mahomes with a weakened offensive line facing a front 4 that Vita Vea came back, supposed to be out for the season, and Ndamukong Suh, that's who's in the middle. Shaquille Barrett and JPP are coming after you off the edges. I mean, they maybe have the best linebacker tandem in football behind those guys, and their secondary, their corners have been playing great throughout the playoffs. All 3 levels of the defense in Tampa have been playing lights out, not just covering guys, and they should be getting even a better push in the middle now, not just really being able to get pressure with 4, you'd think, against the depleted offensive line with those pass rushers. But they all create turnovers on all 3 levels of the defense. That's what Patrick Mahomes is going up against. The Chiefs are not in the Super Bowl because of their defense. Tom Brady is not facing the kind of defensive challenge that Patrick Mahomes is.
Good to be with you guys. It's awesome that you guys both wore the same suit on Friday before the Super Bowl as well. Congratulations on
that. Nice that you changed your tie right before
Max,
the segment.
you are right. You are right that Tampa's offensive line has been a top 5 unit, but Patrick Mahomes is dealing with the greater challenge when it comes to the defensive unit this weekend. All right, first of all, no team has ever won the Super Bowl with backup tackles. Kansas City has to play with both backup tackles. So he's going to have to do something against the defense that's never been done. Number 2, Tampa Bay, and I look at this a little bit more like the challenge for Patrick in a big picture. Tampa's the 4th team in the last 15 years to go into the playoffs with a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Okay, the 3 previous teams that have done that, 2 out of the 3 went to go win the Super Bowl. The only team that didn't was Russell Wilson's rookie year in Seattle. So this is like that is another kind of dot on the challenge of Patrick Mahomes trying to do something that really hasn't been done before. And then, Max, you touched on it. 41 points for Tampa this year have been scored offensively off of turnovers. So you're looking at an offensive line that's been battered with multiple starters that are going to have to go out against the top 5 defense. Both tackles, which are huge when you're playing against any pass rush, let alone a guy like JPP or guys like JPP and Shaq Barrett. You're also talking about a defensive coordinator in Todd Bowles that's fantastic, that in one half of football, when they played 6 weeks ago, had a really poor plan, and then at halftime made a switch and played things differently and very much so like stymied Kansas City's offense. I've said this week. Patrick Mahomes, for Kansas City to win this game, Patrick Mahomes will have to play the greatest game he's ever played. And I know that's heavy words. The quarterback that's been the best football player in the league for the last 3 years and has had incredible performances, he's going to have his best because of all the things that are stacked against him for them to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So this is what my question is to both you and Max. I never once said that Tampa Bay's defense was inferior to Kansas City's. I acknowledge that Kansas City, that the Tampa Bay has the superior defense. What I said is that it's a greater challenge. Even though Tampa Bay has a superior defense, it's still a greater challenge at the hands of Tom Brady because from a skill position, meaning athleticism, mobility, etc., you've got a bigger challenge going up against Kansas City. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't believe I'm off kilter, Dan, by saying that. If you're a stationary target, you got to get the ball get the ball out of your hands inside of 2 seconds, which we know Tom Brady can do better than most. But I'm talking about your physical athletic limitations going up against a defense like Kansas City. Even though Tampa's is better, does that not pose a significant problem potentially for Tom Brady?
No, you're right, Stephen A. Like, there is a challenge. We haven't talked about enough nationally how good Kansas City's defense is. I'm not saying that one side is a cakewalk and one side is going to be this dominant challenge. They're both going to be challenges. And Tom Brady's going to have his hands full with the blitz package out of Kansas City and those guys that can play really good coverage on the perimeter and how daring they're going to be with coming after them. But the challenge for Patrick, he's playing with backup offensive linemen in 3 out of 5 spots. I mean, literally, because I come on here and a lot of people say I make excuses for quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, you should win 0 of these games as a quarterback. When you're talking about going against the top 5 defense,
I'm trying to tell
that is
people,
predicated
Dan.
on one, a really good front 4 and blitz package, but with multiple offensive line. We've seen this story before. We've seen quarterbacks go into games, regular season more often than not, with backup offensive linemen, and they don't win, and we point to that being a huge issue. This is Super Bowl. Like, this is win or you don't get, there is no next week. And we're like, this is a huge challenge for Patrick Mahomes to try to figure out a way to minimize that impact of that really good defense, whether he has his starting offensive line or not, and we know he doesn't. So the challenge is huge for Patrick.
Your best offensive linemen are frequently on the ends, right, are your tackles. But in this case, they're actually also, for their positions, the best on the Chiefs. They are Pro Bowl caliber. Right. Mitch Schwartz was a Pro Football Focus, put him all second team, all NFL second team for the decade. And Fisher is a #1 overall draft pick who's been to multiple Pro Bowls. Those are the guys that are missing. And from Tom Brady, and by the way, because Vita Vea is back with Ndamukong Suh, they're going to get a push in the middle. There won't be a pocket. You got Barrett coming off the end with JPP. Mahomes, you're right, is going to have the best game of his career, which has so far been the best career ever to start in the first 3 seasons. Now, to Stephen A., your point about Tom Brady's lack of mobility, but I might rather be a less mobile quarterback behind a great offensive line than a more mobile quarterback behind one that's riddled with injuries where your best players aren't there. Brady has a lot of time to throw the ball. And when we think of Brady as clutch, when Molly gets that feeling about Tom Brady, like, I'd just rather have Brady, what are we really thinking about? We're thinking about third down. Those are the quarterbacks you go, I trust him on third down. Whatever you want to say about Brady, he's a great, maybe the best ever third down quarterback. So even when the Kansas City has some success, he has so many options on the field. We're not really focusing on Antonio Brown in this Super Bowl because he has 3 other dangerous weapons just at the receiver position, not to mention Gronk and tight ends. Like,
that's not true.
The point is, Tom Brady's defensive assignment here, his assignment against the defense, is considerably easier than Patrick Mahomes.
Well, it's not easy for a couple of reasons.
Is an all-time pickle against this defense right now.
It's not easy for a couple of reasons. Number one, Antonio Brown, the reason why we haven't been talking about him much because we didn't know definitively whether or not he was going to play because obviously he had not been healthy and he's just coming back, number one. Number two, we can't ignore the fact that Chris Godwin has been dropping passes. Number three, when we think about Tom Brady, it's not only his objective to score. I got news for you, Max. He's got another challenge on his hands. Guess what? How about keeping the ball away? Because guess what? You can score too quickly. That could be damaging to you. You can sit up there. Those kinds of things. He has to engage in ball control. You want to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes because that's how lethal this Kansas City offense is. That's what you're anticipating they're going to put up, going up against your squad. And Tom Brady's got to, it's not just about scoring. It's about moving the chains. It's about chewing up the clock.
But that's
it's about keeping the ball out of the hands.
That's why being big on third down,
and I think that's a big deal.
I don't disagree with that analysis. And Dan, again, you can please weigh in. But this is another thing. Arians runs the ball a lot on early downs, which is not always a great idea if it puts you in a bad situation, right? You're going third and long. But when you have maybe the best ever on third down, you can do that. And in fact, that will do exactly what you say, Stephen A. Time of possession can go to the Bucs.
But you're picking Kansas City.
Okay, so I'll touch on a couple
I
of things
believe
there.
that what Dan says is right, and Mahomes will do it.
Yeah, Stephen A. is exactly right. Time of possession does matter. But you have to own time of possession and also score touchdowns against Patrick. There's no point in winning time of possession and kicking field goals. So that does matter. Number two, I get it with the first down runs in Tampa's offense. But when Kansas City's going to play that dime defense, leaving only one linebacker on the field on first down, you should run the ball against that, okay? So that should be into your benefit. I would say this, to put it simply. I can feel or I can envision going on television Monday morning like we all will do and Tampa Bay winning and me going, Tom Brady played good football, okay? I can't envision Kansas City winning and me going, Patrick Mahomes played good football. Kansas City can't win if Patrick plays good. Tampa Bay can win if Tom plays good. For Kansas City to win, Patrick is going to have to be special. Again, you're talking about a quarterback that has to play against the top 5 defense, that has generated multiple turnovers to lead to 41 points in just the playoffs, 101 for the season, with at least 3 starters out on his offensive line.
That ranks 21st against the pass.
But that is insurmountable to have to deal with. That is such a pressure-packed situation that Patrick Mahomes has to walk into. This is that fine line.
Can I throw this out for you, Dan?
Line between Mahomes going,
let me throw this out.
I have to be Superman, but he has to be Superman.
This is what I think you and Max are missing. If this were last year, your points would be even more valid because it's their first trip to the big dance. And instead of Jimmy Garoppolo on the other team with a 10-point lead, you're talking about Tom Brady. They lose that Super Bowl if Tom Brady's your quarterback, in my estimation. Now that you've got that year under your belt, and Patrick Mahomes went 3.5 quarters looking very un-Patrick Mahomes-like, looking very normal and, dare I say, average, if not less than average, for 3.5 quarters when they only registered 10 points, and they were down 10 points, 20-10. I think now that you're coming off that, and you have that experience under your belt, whatever jitters, whatever butterflies, whatever you want to throw into the equation, I think goes out the window and I think works to the benefit of Kansas City.
Yeah, what you're talking about, Stephen A., is what I've been saying all week. And Dan, this is what I think it comes down to. Dan, I think your analysis is spot on, as it often is. But the Chiefs are actually favored. And I think people understand what you're talking about. The Chiefs are favored. And the only reason for that is people don't even realize how good they think Patrick Mahomes is. They're expecting him to be Michael Jordan in this game.
Yeah, I totally agree. Listen, at the end of the day, the reality is that Patrick Mahomes is going to have a historical performance. And Stephen A., my only rebuttal to you would be this. If you sit there and think that he loses that game last year, I want to know why. I have never seen Patrick Mahomes fail on the big moment in the NFL. I haven't seen it. It'll happen at some point.
You said you want to know why. Do I get to answer you?
Tom Brady hits Emmanuel
Sanders. You said you want to know why. Do I get to answer you? Because Tom Brady would have been up 10, and I believe he would have found a way to score a couple of more points, not go scoreless the rest of the way while Patrick Mahomes is on the run. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes would not have put up points in the fourth quarter. I'm saying Tom Brady would have found a way to do so himself.
Stephen A., this goes to your Warriors point. When I talk about what happened with the Warriors and the Rockets, you said if the Rockets would have started hitting shots, the Warriors would have responded. That's what people feel about Mahomes. You start changing history. What if he would have scored? Mahomes would have scored more.
But once again, you don't get to make that argument because you're the one that threw that argument out the window.
I'm using your argument.
No. I'm saying you're using the argument to support your position about Mahomes, but when I said it about Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, you ignored it.
No. In fact,
does that make any sense?
You're doing that. I'm responding to your argument just
How am I doing that? You're the one that brought it up.
I didn't say
you brought it up.
I didn't say that if
Remember, analyze this.
I didn't
analyze that. Y'all remember that? Analyze this.
Yeah,
analyze that. You brought it up.
Right,
What are you
Dan? I'm
What are
with
you
you.
doing? What are you talking about? You brought it up. Hey.
All right.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
Move along.
I'm doing Billy
Only
Crystal
the
right
Lord
now.
can
You brought
save
it
them,
up.
Dan, you're right.
It's a good movie.
Great movie.
My goodness. Can you settle down? Children, can we settle down and move on to a new debate
Stephen
here?
A.
Somebody
Stephen A.
mentioned Michael Jordan. So
emotional.
yeah, you are a little emotional, Stephen A. Take it down a notch. It's Friday. You should be in a good mood. All right, guys, I want to ask you this. Obviously, Tom Brady playing in his 10th Super Bowl. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Tom Brady's playing his 10th Super Bowl. He has an opportunity to win his 7th ring. Michael Jordan obviously won 6 rings. Dan, I'll start with you. Will a win make Brady the greatest winner in the modern era of team sports?
I need a clarification, Molly. Can I add in coaches to this conversation or not? Is it just players?
No, you can't add in coaches. Just players.
I mean, if we're going to add in coaches,
We're not.
we
No,
have
no
the guy
coaches.
Gino Oriem in
No.
there, okay?
Just
no
players.
coaches.
No coaches.
Oh, there we go.
Players.
Yeah, actually, because you went Gino and you went
stop
UConn,
it,
I'll
Molly.
allow it. Now carry
It's
on.
so dirty.
UConn.
Yeah, if Tom
Huskies.
Brady wins, if they win, Tom becomes the greatest team winner or winner in team sports. I think the biggest reason why is if you look at the salary cap reality of the NFL, right? There's 53 guys on every NFL roster, all right? There's about $190 million, give or take, for the salary cap. That's about $3 million that you can give to each player. I know it's allocated differently, but each player. Now, baseball doesn't have a salary cap. Basketball does. Theirs is about $110 million. There's 15 guys on a roster. You're looking at being able to pay guys on average about $7 million. So the amount of money that you have to give to supply your football team is way less in football. That obviously makes it a greater challenge. Number two, there's 11 guys on the field at every time. There is more variance for failure, more variance for a mess up, because you have a greater number of people on the field at the same time in football than any other sport. So there's more a necessity for Tom to be better to kind of cover up for those. And then the reality is no position in sports is more dependent on the quarterback. No position has greater impact in team sports than the quarterback. And so for those reasons, if Tom's able to pull this off with all of those attributes or variables tied to this, he's the greatest winner in team sports, greater than Bill Russell, greater than Wayne Gretzky. I put Tom up there.
I disagree. First of all, a hot goalie can really affect the outcome of a postseason series. I'd say a great superstar in basketball has more of an influence over the fortunes of his team than a quarterback in football. And that's one of the reasons arguing against Michael Jordan. The answer is Michael Jordan. First of all, Bill Russell, by the way, was playing in a very different league. Far fewer teams, not as much worldwide competition for those spots, not as much international talent, et cetera, but really far fewer teams. And he had a great team around him. Although Bill Russell, 21 times in his career as an amateur and pro, faced elimination, right? It came down to the deciding game. He was 21-0. Bill Russell is on a short list of the greatest winners ever. Anytime you talk about winners. The answer is Michael Jordan in the modern era. Let's say post-Bill Russell. The answer is Michael Jordan. He doesn't have an Eli Manning on his resume. He had no rival on the other team because, after all, if you give Brady all the credit for winning, then Eli, who out-clutched Brady in those Super Bowls, also deserves credit for beating him. There's not one like that with Michael Jordan. There was never a contemporary of Jordan's great or a guy who rose under pressure who ever knocked him out when he had an all-star with him. When Pippen reached his prime, his second year as an all-star, Jordan was 6 for 6 whenever he played a full season in the championship, never went a game 7. The reason Michael Jordan's brand is the biggest by some multiple of anyone else in the history of world sports is because he is the ultimate winner. He was better than Magic and Bird by his third season. He's the greatest player of all time, or the best ever, by his third year when he averaged 37 points in a hand-checking league. That's not what did it. It's that once he got a crew, he never lost. 6-0 with 6 knockouts.
Well, according to you, Bill Russell never lost either, 21-0. That we can't ignore that in those closeout games. Listen, 11 titles in 13 years on a pro level, a national champion, an Olympic gold medalist. And the last part that really resonates with me is those very times that you're talking about he was living in. Think about what he had to go through. When you talk about boxing, because very few people on the planet know more boxing than you, when you talk about boxing and we call Ali the greatest, it wasn't just because of his skills in the ring. It was the level of adversity that he had to face and what he endured and what he had to overcome in order to becoming a champion. Well, let's take into account that for Bill Russell. In Boston, Massachusetts, this dude is accomplishing these things, winning with such a degree of regularity, and then becoming a player coach and being a champion as a player coach. So you're talking about greatness, accomplishments on the court, leadership with a level of adversity that he faced that is to some degree is unparalleled in terms of just adversity faced by athletes. If there were no Bill Russells, would there have ever been the Michael Jordans? And so those are the kind of things that I think about when we talk about the greatest winner in team sports. And oh, by the way, they weren't all black players. Had some white players he was coaching too. So he had to get those dudes in that particular period of time to listen to him and buy into what he was selling as an authoritative
when people
figure.
Didn't like when the black guy was the boss.
As the black guy was the boss, he was an authoritative figure, and still they won.
I'm going to give it to you right now. Let me just quickly say, all that Stephen A. said is true about Bill Russell. Look up his Game 7 numbers. Just look up Bill Russell Game 7 numbers. If you want a good laugh, 30 points, 40 boards. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, here's a question I'll ask you guys. doesn't the reality that basketball and baseball have series, like those guys can have off nights, those guys can fall down 2-0 and still win the series and lead themselves to winning the championship? Like, football is sudden death. Football is win or go home. And to go on that journey, like, you can't, Tom has never really been afforded the journey of having an off night, having a game that you're not at your best. Like, when he's gotten into the playoffs, more often than not, he's had to go win 3 straight games. And without like being perfect or darn near it in all of those opportunities, his football team is going to lose those games. And so the amount of championships goes so down. So, like, I think that's got to carry some weight for Tom Brady to realize, like, there wasn't the series aspect of it where you could fall down and not have your best start and still climb your way into it. I'm assuming Russell and Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, a Mickey Mantle type of guys, those guys did that stuff. Tom Brady was never afforded the opportunity to be off or have a wrong night or an off night and still go win his championships.
That's a good point, but let me put it another way. History of sports, ball in this player's hands. Take a worldwide vote. All around, who do you want the ball in the hands of? History of sports. I'll bet you Carson Wentz I'll bet you Michael Jordan gets more votes than everyone else put together. And that's why he is the greatest guy.
You're talking, Max. Did you not hear what Dan said?
What's that? Carson Wentz?
He said Carson Wentz.
I'm trying to ignore that.
He said Carson Wentz. Go ahead.
It was such a good point I was making. You just ruined it.
Yeah.
You ruined the whole thing, Carson.
Sorry, Max. I had to, man.
What's the matter with you? If it was Mariano Rivera or with the ball in his hand, or David Ortiz with the bat in his hand, or by the way, other basketball players, including Kobe or anyone else you want to mention who's clutch. If it's a football player, Joe Montana or Tom Brady, any soccer player you want to mention, anyone, Wayne Gretzky or anyone in hockey or even the most clutch guys, but then say Michael Jordan. The game is on the line. Fate of the universe on the line. Earth can hand the ball to one guy who ever lived. Michael Jordan wins that in a landslide.
Yeah, but
he is the guy. He's the winner.
You're picking a different topic. I think Michael. Wait a minute. We heard you.
Game on the line.
We heard you. Everybody heard you.
Closer.
Here's the deal. Michael Jordan, to me, is the greatest player who ever lived. You know how I feel about him. But the point that I'm trying to make is that when we talk about the greatest winner, we're talking about a multitude of things that come into the equation. And when you think about the team sport that it is and how much harder and how one person can't necessarily dictate the outcome like they can in other sports. And then you take into consideration what Tom Brady has managed to do. You hear former players saying the Patriot way is about Tom Brady. It doesn't mean that they're right, but this is how they feel. Okay, you look at Bill Belichick, the greatest coach in the modern era, but people are saying, look at what you are with Tom Brady. Then Tom Brady goes to Tampa. Well, Bruce Arians was the coach of a 7-9 team. Bruce Arians, a coach that took the Arizona Cardinals to the NFC Championship game, but they got trounced by the Carolina Panthers years ago. Bruce Arians was the guy that took over for Pagano when Pagano went down because of his battle with cancer a few years ago in Indianapolis. He was also the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But his greatest success has been this season with Tom Brady, who happens to be 43 years of age, and you got guys clamoring to play with him or what have you. There's something about him as a leader, not just a player, that we can't ignore. And then if you got a 7th Super Bowl championship on your resume and you've beaten the modern day GOAT in Patrick Mahomes to pull it off, I don't know how we can look at anybody outside of Bill Russell as being the greatest winner in a team sport.
You guys are making good arguments. It's a good. I think Michael Jordan wins, but I want to shout one other guy out we haven't mentioned, Kareem.
Of course.
The greatest college player ever. He was only allowed to play 3 years back then. 3-time player of the year, 3-time champion.
But you know why he doesn't get it, right?
Never lost, and then 6
But
champions.
you know why he doesn't get it, right? He doesn't get. I'm not saying because I love Kareem.
All right, guys, let's make some predictions.
Hold on. I love Kareem.
On.
It's just that he won 5 of his 6 after he got magic.
Okay.
Go ahead, Molly.
All right. We'll save the rest of the Kareem debate for another day because it's a Super Bowl Friday. So let's start making some picks. Tell me why. I'm going to start first. I'm going with that bad man, Tom Brady, Teflon Tom, going for number 7, winning MVP, Bucks, 31-27. See y'all on Monday. Stephen A.?
Well, first of all, if Tom Brady were to win, they could score 3 points and we'd give him the MVP just because he's Tom Brady. They ain't going to vote for anybody else in Tampa if they win the MVP, please. They'd give it to him. Right? They'd give it to him right now. But I'm going with Kansas City, 38-34. I think that Tyreek Hill is a monster. I think Travis Kelce is too. And Patrick Mahomes is the one throwing them the football. I think too much offensive firepower when it counts. I'm going with Kansas City by 4, 38-34.
31-27, Molly's right, but it's going to be the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is going to do exactly what Dan said he has to do. He's going to be Superman in a game where they should not be favored. They should be the underdog. Patrick Mahomes will defy logic and have the game of his life, and the Chiefs will win narrowly, probably in a comeback.
I like it. Listen, I'm taking Kansas City. I took Kansas City back in February, March, April, May, June, July, August. I'm sure as heck not going to turn my back now. I think their defense is way better than people have given it credit for. I also think in football, sometimes you ride turnover waves. And at some point, that wave stops. And Tampa Bay has ridden a turnover wave. And Patrick Mahomes does a lot of things. He just doesn't give the ball away that often. I don't expect him to do it in the Super Bowl. They're the best coached team in football. They've got the best player in football. And they're the roster that is most constructed to play high-level football in the NFL right now. Kansas City goes back-to-back, and we start the conversation of can they win 3 in a row?
All right, real quick, guys, give me your MVP. Dan, you up first.
15. Patrick Mahomes.
I just don't want to go the obvious route. It's easy to pick the quarterbacks. That's a given. But I'm going to go outside. I'm going to say Tyreek Hill.
Patrick Mahomes wins his second consecutive Super Bowl MVP.
I don't know if he deserved the first.
All right, y'all, enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll debate about it on Monday. Dan, have fun. And everyone at home, you enjoy the game as well and have a fabulous weekend and stay safe during your Super Bowl party as well.
Thanks, Molly. We will. This game is so hard to pick, really. I mean, in terms of predictions. Hannah Storm and Jay Harris with you for the next 2 hours on SportsCenter with the Super Bowl 2 days away. We actually have you covered every single aspect.
I am so ready. Let's get started.
Let's go.
SportsCenter now. Roll it.
This is SportsCenter.
We're live in Tampa for the final Bucs and Chiefs preparations. How having a very different Super Bowl week will impact both teams in ways you would not expect. Plus, the key to protecting Tom Brady. Why the best way to keep TB12 upright won't be just the offensive line. And LeBron James criticizes the NBA's All-Star Game plans, what the game's biggest stars' outspoken opinion means for the National Basketball Association.
Tom Brady, those shoulders are ridiculous. Tom Brady is slithery with those shoulders. He's dangerous.
That was so funny.
Speaking of dangerous, this is from the European Tour Saudi International Round 2 this morning. Dustin Johnson's tee shot on 10, pulls it a little bit, and pow!
Oh my goodness.
Hits a volunteer in the back on the fly. There's the ball, and there's the human. And the human goes down. Able to get up, walk it off, clearly in a little bit of some pain. And DJ, it's like, where'd that ball go? He had no idea that he hit someone. But again,
wow, and there's like no spectators there. I mean, what are the odds that you're actually going to hit somebody?
Exactly.
Right? All right, the Super Bowl just 2 days away, Jay, from this fantastic matchup. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Kansas City Chiefs making their final preparations for Super Bowl 55. Both of them practicing indoors yesterday. The Chiefs getting out of the cold and the snow there in Kansas City. And the Bucs, they took the chance to simulate that long halftime that's going to take place on Sunday when the weekend performs. Can't wait for that as well. On the scene there in Tampa Bay, we have Sal Paolantonio and Diana Rossini covering the Bucs and the Chiefs respectively. Chiefs fly in tomorrow afternoon while the Bucs and Brady look to become the first ever to win a Super Bowl right there in their home stadium. So let's start there with the latest on the NFC champs. Sal?
Hannah, what's happening right now is the Bucs are on the practice field at their facility about 32 miles east of here in Tampa. They're wrapping up their last practice for Super Bowl 55 in about 6 minutes. All eyes will be on 2 players. Cameron Brate, tight end, whose back tightened up on Thursday, didn't finish practice on Thursday, was listed as limited. We'll have to see how he does today. Practice report will come out later on in the day. And Antonio Brown, who had his first full participation in practice.